when I took the pressure off of me to make money, it seemed like the money came at me. It came at me a lot faster. Like I see people chasing the almighty dollar all the time and they're frustrated. They got anxiety. And then they false flag. You know, they're pretending like they got this. You see all these people now on Instagram, you know, taking pictures with cars that are not theirs, houses that they rented or whatever. And, you know, look, I don't blame them, man. I love all the nice stuff too. But when that stopped becoming my focus, it was amazing how the things started coming towards me. So we do everything intentionally, man. We have a plan. For us, it's about experiences. It's about what we're going to do next. Things that are going to last, you know, a lifetime, not short-term things.
I'm excited to bring you to today's episode with none other than John Mallot. This man started from nothing, coming from prison to private jets. If your ears work, you will be getting some amazing value from this episode right here. If you haven't made it up to the top, to leave that 5-star review, subscribe, or share with a friend, make sure to do that. We are on a mission to reach as many ears and affect as many lives as possible with the amazing guests we are bringing on. If you would like to support in another way, additionally, we do have a Patreon where we will be releasing AMAs, early episodes, and merch coming soon. You can find that at patreon.com/D2E. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this episode.
Awesome. We are back in the building with another episode of the Dedication to Excellence podcast. I am your host, Eugene Tamampos, alongside my co-host, Dustin Reyna. How are you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I'm ready to get this started. We're going to cover a lot of great things today,
as we always do. For those of you listening for the first time, the purpose of this podcast is to not just inspire and motivate, but to give you real actionable steps and operational strategies from high achievers who have done the things we'll be discussing with them. Because once you're excited, folks, guess what? You actually got to go do some shit. So today we have another heavy hitter on the call. This gentleman has made millions in network marketing. He's been a #1 income earner in network marketing, has trained tens of thousands of work-from-home entrepreneurs from stages around the world. And most recently, he's actually started his own network marketing company, which we're definitely excited about. He'll cover what it takes to build a company from the ground up. He's branched off into other business ventures. He's become an investor. He runs the Build Your Empire Instagram page with almost 1.5 million followers. I can go on and on and on and on. John Mallot, welcome to the Dedication to Excellence podcast, sir.
Yo, excited to be here, man. I'm glad we finally connect. I know we got history. We go back a ways, so it's good to be on here, man. I appreciate this platform. I appreciate what you guys are doing, and the title says it all. Dedication to Excellence, man. I love it.
Yes, sir. So I thought to kick things off, it would be fun to tell actually the story of, I'm sure you don't remember this at all, but when I met you, it was the funniest thing. And I've been waiting all these years to apologize, brother. So here we are. So it was, for some context here, my very first business that I started was with a network marketing company at the time called Prepaid Legal. And Mr. Mallot here was one of the top guys in the company. Now, when I went to my first big conference, I did not know that. So when I first met him, I'll never forget this. It was at one of the breakout sessions. Mr. Mallot was standing next to, you were with Mr. Carruthers, Brian Carruthers at the time. Shout out to BC, who was the #2 income earner in the company and really one of like the more known faces. So when I saw Mr. Mallot and Mr. Carruthers, I knew Mr. Carruthers had no idea who Mr. Mallot was. So I think I kind of just walked in and cut you off just to say hi to Mr. Carruthers. I'll never forget the look on your face. You looked at me like, who the fuck is this punk ass kid? Like, not knowing who I am. And yeah, sir, that's how I met you. But I went on to learn the story of who you were, and it's an amazing story. And I can't wait for our audience to hear it because I know you've overcome a lot. So maybe you can just bring us back to the early days and some of the things you overcame in your upbringing before you went on to build this empire, like your Instagram page.
Yeah, man. So you're trying to get your following to disappear. You want me to tell my story right now?
Let's get it, brother.
Like, what kind of clown you got on your podcast? Shit. You know, look, I don't have all the things that, you know, society says you're supposed to have to be successful. And, you know, I don't have the college degree. I don't even have a high school diploma. And you know how society has a way of putting people in boxes, color of skin, you know, gender. In my case, it was my lack of education. I ended up doing exactly what society expected from a 10th grade dropout. I found myself working over at the General Electric plant. You know, I got a title. I'm a custodial engineer. You know, I'm a janitor, man. I'm scrubbing another man's toilets. I'm working paycheck to paycheck. just struggling to keep up with the big mouth promises I made to family, friends, and bill collectors. I was getting nowhere, fast. And, when I was 15 years old, I had my first felony arrest. I robbed the movie theater, which led to incarceration. When I was released from that, there was, what we now know as the crack epidemic. We didn't call it crack at that point. We were freebasing cocaine, I didn't get the memo, don't get high on your own supply. I wanted to be a capitalist, but I liked the product so damn much. I ended up having a heart attack at 17 years old from smoking cocaine. So, but that, what turned out to be, what seemed like a curse turned out to be the biggest blessing in my life, man, because I ended up in I got locked in a facility again with a drug rehabilitation program because there were circumstances around what happened. But in that program, I met a guy by the name of Dave, a drug counselor who was a former outlaw motorcycle gang member who I related to, man. He was the first person that spoke my language, first person that I didn't feel like was talking, down to me or at me. And he was the first person that introduced me to personal development, man. He planted a seed, and that seed continued to grow, and he was the first guy who gave me the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which set me on a personal development journey. So I always had like one foot in the hood, one foot creating problems, and then one foot in personal development. And that's really what set the stage. So when I was doing bad after that, it was different because now I knew I was doing bad. You know what I'm saying? It was like, the mirror was in front of my face because I didn't take responsibility for anything back then. I blamed the police. I blamed my dad. I blamed my teacher, everybody, everybody was a problem except for me. And Dave was the first guy that said, no, man, it's you 100%. You made an appointment to be here. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, in your case, that sucks. It sucks. But he said, the good news is you can make a new appointment. And that was what started, at 17, it started to change some things. The last time I was arrested, last felony arrest, I was 24 years old and sitting on the bullpen floor in the Milwaukee County Jail. Now at this point, I've got a child at home. I got a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm supposed to be a grown man. I'm still acting like a child myself. And it was sitting on that floor, July 4th, 1993, waiting to go to court. I sat there for 4 days, in this environment that, of course, is not positive. But it gave me a chance to reflect, man. And it was on that bullpen floor. I made a decision. Yeah, I was a loser. Yes, I was a criminal. Yes, I was a drug addict, all these things. That's who I was. That's not who I am. That's not who I will be. And when I finally got, free of that whole situation, I never did drugs again and was never arrested again after that. But that really was the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, which really sucked because when I left there, I didn't have anything, man. There was nothing left. I destroyed so many relationships prior to that, but leaving there, it started me off. It took me 7 years though, man, 7 years to crack $100,000, man. Nobody thought John Mallot was going to lead them to freedom. I wasn't even sure. I was joking around. I was rolling through my neighborhood in my Pontiac 2000, 2-tone, 1-tone rust, 1-tone dirt. Nobody believed. And, but it was my 7th year when we made the transition into prepaid legal. I made $116,000. And the next year it went to $224,000. And, then, later on $1 million, $2 million, as I transitioned to other companies, other opportunities, and my mind was expanding. So my bank account had to expand. It was just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
My bank account had to catch up with my mind. And then sometimes my bank account got bigger than my mind and it came back. So I learned a lot of lessons. I've learned a lot of lessons, on this journey. So
how did you get introduced to network marketing?
Because, I was looking for something, man. So when I was going through that drug rehabilitation program and I was turned on to personal development, I discovered that there were seminars where these dudes would show up and they would teach you what they knew. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can go to a place and they're there teaching this stuff. It blew my mind. So I went to a seminar, and at the seminar on the back table, there was a table and it had a newspaper called Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. I'm like, shit, I want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. I picked up this free newspaper, and in there they were promoting personal development via satellite into your home. Like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, all these guys. I was like, oh, man, that would be ideal, have it right in my home. Turned out it was a network marketing company. So when I called, then they pursued me like crazy. And, I was like, I didn't have it was $600 at the time. I didn't even have the $600 to join the deal. But eventually, because they drove me so crazy, eventually I came up with the $600. I got in. that was really the beginning of the journey. I ended up coming to an event in Dallas, Texas, and I saw all these people, man, that were living these incredible lifestyles. They had time and they had freedom, the two things I really wanted. And that's how it began. That's why I saw a different side of an industry that didn't have a very good reputation, you know, that people
Can you talk
understand.
about that a little bit? Can you talk about why network marketing to those who have only heard negative things about network marketing?
Man, if you went to a business owner and you asked them to describe what would be their ideal situation as a business owner, no inventory, you know, not having the expensive inventory, not having the traditional expense of employees, not being tied to a particular geographic location, especially nowadays, man, these things are more relevant today than ever. And I think that's why network marketing is exploding since the pandemic hit. We've seen, you know, companies grow 300, 400% in a handful of months because people are catching on that it's very simple, man. It's like, number one, there's not a better way to get information out than me telling you, saying, yo, you're my brother. You got to check out, I'm using this product. It's having a big impact. Word of mouth has always been the best way. The challenge where the bad reputation came in is greed on the part of leaders that bring people in, and they don't have a system. They don't have they're just trying to get lucky themselves. They're trying to hit the lottery. And so they don't know what to tell you. They're like, just go get them, Tiger. You're like, okay, go get who? Go get what? What do I do? So what do? But you do what I did in the beginning. I thought I had to be like a sales guy. I try to change my voice. I changed it was weird. And my friends were like, bro, what happened to you, man? There's something wrong with you. So we become weirdos. People join a network marketing company and they were cool before they went in. All of a sudden they're in and they're so excited. They got, hats and pins and they're freaking out their family and friends. They're chasing people down and they're like, oh man, everyone's like overwhelmed. And so that was the tradition, the problem. They didn't realize, like, later on, when I evaluate some of my mentors, like Paul J. Meyer, Jim Rohn, some of these guys were worth millions and millions of dollars. They had a very professional approach. They had a very systematic approach. And that's what we developed. That's where we crushed it, where we started making tens of millions of dollars in the profession is when we systematized everything. Like for me, I have a 3-step system for everything, for how we onboard someone, for how we prospect. And we're encouraging people not to be salespeople. We're showing people that, look, if you're a sales guy, it's hard to duplicate your mouth. But if I can teach you how to use high-tech tools and sales funnels today and using videos and have a very systematic approach that's already done for you, press a button like the dude at McDonald's, press a button and you got your Big Mac comes out.
Sure.
And so that was the difference. It wasn't very professional because there wasn't a lot of organization, but the power of word of mouth grew companies like Amway to $10-12 billion, Avon billions, Mary Kay billions. They didn't need to straighten up back then because it proved that in spite of the reputation that network marketing in general had, these companies would build an army of people that loved what they were part of, and they were telling other people. And you can't beat that. You can't stop that. Now social media has changed the game too, because now we can put that on steroids. We can speed that whole process up. But if you do it right, you can get people to know you, like you, and trust you. Because that's people only do business with people that know you, like you, and trust you. Social media now allows us to speed that process up. Back in the day when I was doing it, man, we had like VHS tapes, and I had to sit down and have coffee with you, hang out with you and your grandmother, for 3 weeks, and then you're trying to make it. I'm like, bro, you're trying to make a decision, a $50 decision, and I got to spend 2 weeks with you.
Yeah,
it was a pain. So that's why I'm back in the mix, man. Because guys like you come up, you guys are, using the tools right, you're using the information right. I can't let you have all this money on your own, man. So I had to step back into the game and say, look, there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur. Never been a better time to go out there and crush it and change your legacy, man. Change your family tree forever with this.
Man, you bringing me back to some of the convention trainings now that I heard you spit years ago. So I know a big part of the journey, at least in our company that we were with together in that season, a big part of the success philosophy there was sticking to the 10 core commitments. So what have been some of your core commitments that you've held steadfast to over the years as you've grown from? Because there are people who join network marketing and make a little bit of money. There are people who join and make more money. There are people who make full-time money. And then there are people who just get like filthy, nasty rich. And I think you fall to that side of the spectrum. So what are just some of the philosophies and core commitments that you've exercised over the years to build your world-class organizations?
You know, the core commitments, everybody should have core commitments. You know, I run, just like how I run my household, I run my household based on our core values inside of our house. So we know, you know, what we're going to do, what we're willing to do inside this house, what we're not willing to do, who we're willing to let in our house, you know, who's in the environment. We run our house with, you know, spreadsheets, financial, you know, everything is like, I know lower expenses, raise income, you know, just like I try to do in all of our companies. And, you know, some of my core commitments is my daily method of operation. I have a very clear daily method of operation. I know exactly what I'm going to do when I wake up. We have a gratitude thing that my wife and I do, you know, now, because for a long time, I didn't understand the power of gratitude. I didn't understand the power of meditation or clearing your mind. I was always in hustle mode. I was always just trying to fill the bank account with cash. And later on, I figured out there's a lot more to it than just the cash, you know, that fulfillment, impact, these things, you know, what my kids say about me, you know, generations from now. So yeah, I have a very clear set of rules, what I do in the morning. Like for me now, it's, you know, I get up early, I hit the gym, and, you know, I just turned 50. So I'm like, man, I have a 26-year-old wife. So I gotta be on my toes. I've got you know, kids in their 20s. And for me, it's become my responsibility to live at a higher level, not just for me, but for the people that care about me. I can't let myself go. Like I see a lot of people that are 50, man, they can't run around the block, you know, can't barely run across the street, can't do 10 push-ups. And so I made that part of my core values, part of my core commitments is, you know, I've got my faith, you know, then for me, it's health and wellness. And because, you know, that drives everything. If I don't have, like, I'm so damn energetic that it helps me get things done. I can't imagine if you're feeling lethargic, if you're not healthy, you know, you can't get wealthy in that. You can't run a family like that. You can't be an example for the next generation. So I focus heavily there, and then my family, and then money. You know, when I took the pressure off of me to make money, it seemed like the money came at me. It came at me a lot faster. I see people chasing the almighty dollar all the time, and they're frustrated. They got anxiety, and then they false flag. You know, they're pretending like they got this. You see all these people now on Instagram, you know, taking pictures with cars that are not theirs, houses that they rented or whatever. And, you know, I look, I don't blame them, man. I love all the nice stuff too. But when that stopped becoming my focus, it was amazing how the things started coming towards me. So we do everything intentionally, man. We have a plan. For us, it's about experiences. It's about what we're going to do next, things that are going to last, you know, a lifetime, not short-term, you know, type things. So yeah, man. But you bring back the 10 core commitments, you know, something that we started to develop because I'm about to launch this new company, which is going to blow people away, because we're about to disrupt an industry that needs to be disrupted, because they're still teaching the old school stuff. Make a list of 100 people, go harass your family and friends. You know, I'm like the anti-MLM network marketer, and we're going to come in and show, look, let me show you how to use social media. Let me show you how to use memes and surveys and, you know, indirect approaches to get people attracted to you, to get people saying, yes, I want to join that team. I want to be part of that, rather than chasing people down. So we're about to do some things, but I'm creating our new 10 core commitments for this company. So it's funny that you brought that up. I said, I'm busting out the 10 core commitments again and showing people that if you do these, you know, and that's the beauty of it. There's not a lot of steps. Once you figure it out, I mean, 10 is like maximum for me. We start getting over 10, my mind gets discombobulated.
Right.
But, you know, I like to work in threes. And then if I got 10 things that I need to do to create a big business, and I can duplicate that and show people to do that, we can grow all over the world.
Love it, brother. You're crushing the game today, but if I can, again, bring it back to the early part of the journey, and I wanted to ask you this because I watched a video of you explaining that the first $100,000 was the hardest to make. What barriers did you have to overcome to finally crack that six figures that took you 7 years to overcome?
Man, that was a rough time. All the barriers, when I look back, were self-induced. They were all me. You know, I had so many blocks in my mind. Some of that, of course, was programming and conditioning from, you know, being a kid, my neighborhood, you know, family, friends, all the stuff that you know, conditioned me to be who I was. So that was the hardest part, was getting past me, man. I'm prone to depression. I'm prone to bad behavior, you know, all these things. So, and I'm prone to bad energy, which I didn't catch on to that until later on, that the people I had around me were they were infecting me. You know, their bad energy, I acted just like them. I was a magnet for it. So when people say you become the combined average of the 5 people you hang out with, it sounds great to hear it from someone on stage. But when you really start to look at it, who do you got around, man? When, you know, you got some people are going to have a bunch of people on Thanksgiving in the house that shouldn't be in the damn house. You know what I mean? Because they bring the whole thing down. So I at a certain point, I had to cut. I do a whole training on, you know, changing your life. And one of the things we talk about is cutting things out. And so like people that were close to me had to be cut, man. People that were.
Feel free to give that training right now. Sure, our audience wouldn't mind.
I'll give you the condensed version. It's pretty simple, man. People are always, I mean, I get hit up all the time. You know, my life is this, or, you know, I get a lot of people that, you know, have been through some things, whether it's drugs or they have criminal records. Cause I say, look, man, if John Mallot can do it, anybody can do it. This isn't, you know, crazy. There's nothing, you know, mystical or magical about what I do, man. I dumb everything down to its lowest common denominator, man. It's all simple. Matter of fact, you know, you look at my house, there was 3 of us, you know, my brother, my sister, and me. My sister died from a heroin overdose at 21. My brother's been in and out of prison his whole life. He's 2 years younger than me, but if you've seen him, he looks like he's 30 years older than me. It's amazing he's even still alive today. And, you know, how does one person, I hate to say make it, because even to this day, there's so many levels to this game. You know, when you start, I just heard today, you know, Elon Musk is the 2nd richest man in the world. So you start thinking about there's levels to this, you know, this deal. Like I'm a pipsqueak in those terms, but in our little circle, yeah, you know, we've done something, but you know, there's a long way to go. So, but my point is, if you want to change your life, the challenge is we're focusing on the results. Even when we're teaching our teams in network marketing or any sales process, we're always focused on the results. So of course we reward the results, and those that are getting results that are not happy with, they beat themselves up, they punish themselves over them rewards, which then creates a cycle of negativity that's very difficult to get out of. So what we started doing was working backwards from the results. Where were the results coming from? Well, it came from the performance. The performance came from what? It came from activity, actions, behaviors. The behaviors came from the attitudes. The attitudes came from the expectations. Expectations came from the beliefs. The beliefs came from the thinking. So if I want to change any area of my life, I got to work backwards from whatever that result is. I got to get to the root, which is the thinking, figure out, okay, where's the adjustment needed there? If I can change the thinking, I can then change my beliefs. That's what I hold on to. That's what I'm about, which then changes my expectations. Now, expectations, the big thing that people don't even think about. When you start to expect that I go first class, you start to expect my family eats different. You expect that we live different. I expect to win. It's amazing how that changes your attitude. Because we're always telling people you got to get, you know, you need an attitude adjustment, or this person's got a bad attitude. No, they have an expectation problem. Like even today, we have people are expecting the government to do everything for us. They're expecting the world to somehow fall into what they believe it should be. And it's never going to work that way. So when you get your expectations right, your attitude will automatically change, and your attitude always drives your behavior or your actions. And so that's in a nutshell, the whole training I do with, you know, little, you know, a few fancy little things I put in there to make people think I'm great. But other than that, it's pretty simple.
And is that what you would credit that training to what brought you over that 6-figure hump? All those things you just spit right there?
Oh, for sure, man. Because my head was messed up. So there was no way I didn't have a 6-figure mindset, you know, so it was never going to happen. As much as I wanted it and as much as I wished for it, you know, like everybody, it wasn't going to happen. Then 7 figures was a whole nother animal. Let's
talk about that evolution. From going from being because you were a leader in prepaid legal, but you were like the leader when you went on to Secret, which I believe was the next company, correct?
Yeah. Well, part of it was revenge, man. You know, there's something to be said for some revenge, you know. But you know, you mentioned Brian Curlis. Brian Curlis was the best man at my wedding, and you know, we were close. Darnell Sutton, we were close, and a lot of my friends didn't like the fact that I was leaving. And people that were speaking highly about me one day kind of turned on me the next day. And I didn't understand that. Where I come from, look, I got friends from the hood that, you know, are still my friends to this day. I might not be hanging out with them every day, but we're not bad-mouthing each other because we went different directions. And it was kind of weird to me because it seemed like the code, there was a different code that I didn't know. I didn't understand that code. It was hard for me to comprehend. So then my code kicked in and said, all right, let me show you clowns how this shit really works. I'm gonna go make more money than all of you. Now look, I'm praying for forgiveness. I know revenge ain't right, so I prayed for forgiveness. I think I've been redeemed, but that's really what it was, man. And if they were in front of me, I would say the same thing. You know, oh, you're making $1 million a year. Well, I know what I got to do. I got to make 2 million, and you know, and that's what we did. You know, the first year I made $1 million. First year, you know, we cracked $1 million, and then you know, it went to 2 million, and then it was, you know, $250,000 a month residual. So I didn't have to work. There came to a point where no matter what I did, you know, I had $250,000 a month coming into the house for what we already built. And that allowed me to then, you know, parlay that into other companies, other investments, things that were kicking off cash flow, things that were building equity. And you know, now we're playing, now we got then the chance to play at much higher levels, because
talk us through that. What if you were consulting somebody who's a top income earner or network marketing who wants to now diversify and leverage the platform they built, like what are some of your thoughts around that? And if you were to guide someone through that?
Well, you know, of course, the first thing I would say, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Because one thing about especially early entrepreneurs, when we get money, you know, we go, you know, I've had it all, the big houses, the Rolls Royce, all the stuff that you think you're supposed to have. But then it wasn't long, because of great mentors in my life, you know, that talk about putting, you know, having your money get out of bed before you do, having your money working for you. So I started looking for things that made sense. And then I became, you know, what I guess you would call an impact investor. Like, you know, we've got a company going public. You know, we're supposed to go public in October. We ran with the COVID, some things got in the way with we're listing on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Nice.
We got a company that's got an incredible alternative to opioids, which is, you know, hits home with me, because, you know, the situation in my family, my brother, you know, went from opioids to heroin. And, you know, so for me, it's an impact play, you know. So we got an incredible company called Medipure that we had a chance to get on the ground floor. That company will go public. We own a private jet service, which is not much of an impact thing, other than I get to fly on the private jet for free.
Pretty
well, not necessarily free, because I paid my investment up front, but, you know, it's a cool thing to have. And we got three Challenger 850 jets, you know, Rolls Royces in the sky. So, you know, stuff like that. You know, but I tell people, keep your eyes open, and look what's happening in the stock market. Look what's happening with, you know, cryptocurrency today. Just being open to it, you know, can have a big impact. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to go and just dump a whole bunch of money in there, because, you know, that's why, like, I traded Forex and I lost tons of money, you know, trading Forex. I rode Bitcoin until Bitcoin decided to turn from 20,000 and drop back to 3,000. And I was one of the guys that rode it all the way back down, you know. So, you know, you got to be disciplined, and I would also say have good advisors around you, people that have track records, people know what they're doing, because you can't be all things to all people. And but be open, man. And then the best place to put your money as an early entrepreneur is in yourself. You know, books and nowadays so much of this information is free, which is beautiful. But, you know, I'm constantly still buying books on a regular basis, listening to audio programs. I'm just constantly taking it. I'm trying to figure out how to get in front of the right people.
I have an idea. Everyone should follow the Build Your Empire Instagram page. So how did that come to be?
I think that's a damn good idea, bro. That's that would be very smart. And then, you know, and when we'll go back, and like, we've done events all over the world. Right before COVID, we did a big event in Germany, and you know, that's
well, for the few people out there who don't know what the Build Your Instagram page is. Can you talk us through that origin story and what it's become and what you have in mind for?
Yeah. So for me, you know, I'm a huge fan of entrepreneurship of any kind. Like those that are willing to pay the price to do something on their own, to create something, to become something. You know, I'm a huge fan of that. So, you know, the Build Your Empire Instagram page was designed to showcase world-class entrepreneurs, and at the same time, you know, lift up the next generation of world-class entrepreneurs, to kind of connect those two things, to save people time. You know, someone else has been there and done it, you know. And I know sometimes the challenge is, when we're young, our egos are so big, we just believe we can do everything and we got it all down, and, you know, don't listen to old people. But I've discovered that by me listening to people like Jim Rohn and, you know, Tony Robbins and people that were more advanced than me, it gave me a shortcut. So these platforms were designed to give people shortcuts, put the right people in the mix. You know, even today I posted something about time. Like, you know, people are making excuses why they can't do a side hustle. They don't have the time. And so I kind of broke it down that, you know, even if you sleep 8 hours, you work 50 hours a week, you go to the gym, you do different things, I still could find 50 hours in a week But it's funny how people get on the page and they argue with me. Well, you forgot about, I got to take a shit. I got to eat. I'm like, all right, well, justify why you don't do anything or become anything you want. All I'm saying is here's kind of a guide. I don't know everyone's situation. So adjust it for you, man. Adjust it for you. But I guarantee everybody could carve out. Everybody's wasting time somewhere. And once we start to show entrepreneurs or people that would like to become entrepreneurs, where there's holes in their system and how to plug those holes, it's like, oh, we get people that are like, oh, okay, I see. I just found 10 hours this week. I wasn't even thinking about that I had 10 hours. And then we show them not only that you got this time, the next step is to say, here, okay, so you only have 10 hours because you got kids, you got, 2 jobs, you only got 10 hours. Well, okay, well, now let me show you exactly what to do. Here's money-making activity that you do in those 10 hours. It's funny because the same people that were complaining that they don't have the time to go and build your empire and troll the page and put negativity up. I said, look, at the time you did that, I could have showed you how to make, 15 exposures in a side hustle that would have netted you one new affiliate or one new customer and would have put some money in your pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So the Build Your Empire page has absolutely taken off. I mean, is that what you guys had foreseen? Because you're at 1.5 million followers. It's not often you find meme pages with over 1 million followers. Like, what was the strategy behind that, or did it kind of just happen that way?
It was, what the strategy was. It was very clear to us that social media was moving. So go back 2011 and you start to see what was happening. You start to see guys like Tai Lopez come up through. Nobody knew who he was prior to that. He didn't even know who he was. He came up with 67 steps to success, and he didn't even have 67 steps. And he put it out there, and it hit. He had to create 67 steps. He started reading books to create it. That's why you see all his books. So it's funny to me, so we saw this platform. The challenge for me at that time is I was partying. I had made some big money, and I was going. Anyhow, things were changing in my life. So I was living the life of a rock star, but I kept my eye on it, man. I'm like, all right. At some point I got to get in this game. And I ran into some young kids that appeared to have, get it in a big way. So I paid to learn, like, put me up on game, man. Teach me how does all this work? Show me the ropes. Now, in the end, they cost me a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But in that time frame, we learned a lot. So when we launched that page, we had so much information under our belt on how to do this, what's effective, what doesn't work and what does. But we always knew, like, again, it goes back to expectations. If I'm going to do something, not that everything I've done has been a winner, but I expect it to win. So of course, my expectation was we're going to crush it. And we did. We became in that entrepreneur space. We've had everybody from we've shared stages with Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, you name, Tai Lopez, Alex Muir, Bradley. Now a lot of these guys are our friends or my friends. And so if nothing else, the relationships that were built learning the game turned out to be more powerful. There's a guy, Matt Morgan, who I was just in Miami hanging out with. Matt Morgan has, built massive cannabis companies and he's become a close friend. I learned so much from these guys. Cody Grandadam, the flashlight king, hundreds of millions of dollars in flashlights sold through like Walmart and Home Depots. So Josh Snow is one of my close friends, nice. Snow teeth whitening. Yeah. So these relationships all came from these events. Either they were on our stages or they were in our audience. And you just don't know, man. Even though it was an expensive lesson, and there were some people that I believe, attempted to take advantage of us. They're not doing so well today, but we are, because our intentions were always right. Our intentions were always pure. Does that make sense?
That does, yeah. And I find it fascinating that you guys got fleeced by some younger kids. Good job.
I know.
Must have been one hell of a negotiator.
Yeah, they were good, man.
Some of the plans you have for building your empire, because I know you said you're going to bring back the events and whatnot, and kind of what people can look forward to with all that.
Yeah, man. I love the events is my thing, man. Nothing like that live. That's when the COVID thing is been interesting, because the live events, that's where the energy is. It's like going to a sporting event. You walk in and it's like, how do you describe the energy of that event when there's a buzz there? So we're going to definitely, and then we already have plans to hit third world countries that are on the come up, where they're hungry. They want to learn entrepreneurship. They're not like Americans, where we can sit home and the government will send us a check. We can smoke weed and play Xbox, not become anything. And you're still gonna have a roof over your head here. Someone's still gonna feed you. But there's countries, man, that are so entrepreneurial, and they want to learn this stuff. And, so that's a big passion for me, is to teach people that really want to learn it, that are hungry to get it, and just haven't had the opportunity. No one's opened the door for them. And so we can bring this information, into these markets and develop, new world-class entrepreneurs that are, are just, hungry, ready, teachable, all the things that we look for. And we'll launch new companies around the whole.
I'd like to dive into Euphoria. I know that you're excited to move into that and really change the name of the game there. What led you into this particular industry itself, not network marketing, but the supplement side of things, and then just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Euphoria is an amazing company because, again, my business partner Terry LaCour, who's a billionaire, he's just got a knack for hitting home runs, and he plays in the network marketing arena, but he plays in the supplement arena in a big way. And when I found out, for me, health and wellness is a big deal. Again, I want to live a long time. I want to keep my energy up. I don't want to be living in my house afraid because COVID's hit, and I can't leave the house because I haven't taken care of myself. And so it forces to be when your business is health and wellness, it kind of forces you to be healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're kind of a hypocrite. Yeah. If I'm telling you,
train with a fat trainer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, you should do this while I'm eating a fucking Big Mac. You're like, all right, this, and people do it all the time. I get it, but it doesn't weigh well with me. So with Euphoria, Euphoria had this, basically take a DNA test, and they, customize nutrition based on your DNA. I'm like, this is brilliant. This is the future. The challenge is, it's expensive. That's why we brought lots of athletes, professionals, things like that. And not everybody gets it because, and then, you're taking a lot of supplements there. Great company, incredible people. And, I pull a nice residual income from that company, on a regular basis. So I love all the people over there. I love what they stand for. My business partner, still owns it. And, but I decided to partner with him, Terry LaCour, on this new company that's bringing a new packaging technology to the table. And then, high quality, clinically tested, clinically studied products that, have the potential to really have an impact on people's lives.
Oh, so this isn't even a new company.
Oh yeah. This is new. Like, we haven't launched yet. Like, we started the 21-day challenge, which is getting people, our mission is real simple. We're going to change minds, we're going to change bodies, and we're going to change bank accounts. And we're going to bring a product, several products to the marketplace that are in that sweet spot, that price range where the masses can participate. And then we're going to deliver, we'll have a culture that's second to none, that we're lifting, equipping, empowering people to get to the next level. So yeah, we're bringing a brand new, a whole new deal. And then, my partner is always on the cutting edge of what's next. So we've got something that I think people are going to be blown away by. Simple delivery system, all of it. So yeah, but we're almost there, man. We're going to have a leadership launch sometime next month. And then we'll go into a full scale launch, January, February next year.
What's that process like, building a network marketing company from literally like the ground up, from square one? You have to be completely nuts to. Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's been like, for me, man, less sleep than I normally get. We're working on the clock because you have people's lives at stake in doing something like this. It's not just, look, we could fail if when we launch, there's going to be thousands of affiliates, or what we'll call ambassadors, that are counting on us to deliver on our end. So it can be nerve-wracking, man. It can give you, anxiety, but in the end, for me, it's like an exclamation point on my career. 27 years I've been doing this, man. I'm not a CEO that, came up in the ivory tower. You know what I'm saying? I'm a CEO that I was in the field, in the trenches, as a top distributor last month, you know what I'm saying? And last year, and over the last decade. So I know exactly. So we'll build a company from the field up, instead of what 99% of these companies are doing. They're building a company from the company down, and you kind of take orders, you do what they give you. We're about to flip this whole thing. And because we understand it's 2020, it's about to be 2021, a lot of these network marketing companies are still teaching stuff that, you know, from 2007, you know, 2000, it just shit don't work. It just doesn't work. And so you're setting up distributors for failure because out of greed or out of complacency, you're allowing people to do things that can't possibly work right now. And so, you know, we're changing the game. You know, we're going to come in and you know, we're going to teach people social stuff, you know, social media, you know, something as simple as social media, teaching people how to use social media to attract people rather than what most network marketers do. They bombard their pages with their stuff and they scare everybody away. So nothing ever happens. They get no traction from it. So we show people how to really, you know, again, using memes. It's amazing. Today we live in a society, you get some well-placed memes, and then we connect it to a little survey, and then that's connected to an account. Anyhow, we can drive a whole.
Break that down a little bit. I'm curious as some of those plays you're running.
Yeah, man. Look, number one thing is interesting. You can find memes all over. So I don't even create these memes. I'll go. Let's say I want to do a little post about being debt free. I can go Google debt free, and there'll be like signs, you know, like a road sign, debt free this way with an arrow. You know what I'm saying? Or there'll be, you know, there'll be someone dancing or something, whatever. You can find these memes. You post a meme that's cool that people like, and then you put a little something like, you know, working on being debt free, or who wants to be debt free, and then you get people to answer that question. Or you want to be debt free, take this survey and have a little link to a survey. So we were connecting memes, whether it was about the product, you know, being healthy. You know, I had a meme that hit real hard. It was like, ask your doctor about a drug that has 37 side effects, including death, if this is right for you. And, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that people are like, oh yeah, the pharmaceutical company, you know, the big pharma's killing us. Or they create something that's supposed to help us, keeps us alive longer, but it's not necessarily helping us. And so I would, you know, get these memes. Then we would have these little surveys either around health and wellness or around making money and residual income. And people fill out these surveys. And then we would hit them up with we had an app that you press a button and it would send a video saying, hey, based on your answers to the survey, check out this 90-second video. You know, we knew the videos had to be short because the attention span is short. And that video was a sorting tool. It wasn't designed to close you, which I hate the word close, but it was designed to have you join that day. It was designed to pique your interest enough to see if you're open to receive the information to make the right decision. And we did that over and over and over and over and over and over until it exploded. And
love it.
So that's the gist of it. That's kind of how we did it.
Love it, man. You're basically bringing marketing funnels, social media marketing funnels to network marketing. It's beautiful. If we could maybe shift gears a little bit, I know adjacent to your professional career, you've had I'd say a little bit more public of a personal life as well. Can you talk us through that and just kind of some of the obstacles you overcome and how that's really helped your dynamic? Because you've taken off in the last few years, man. And I like to think it's your personal life has a lot to do with that. Yeah,
man. You know, it is. I'm always taking inventory. Like, you know, I'm on my third marriage. So a lot of people know this stuff has been out there. Matter of fact, Daily Mail writes an article that explodes. And my daughter calls me and she says, Daddy, I'm on Snapchat and Daily Mail has a thing about you and Najla, which is my new wife. And I didn't even know. And, you know, so all this stuff gets put out there. Some of it's negative, a lot of it's negative, but, you know, whatever. You learn a lot from this stuff. And I learned a lot from, of course, I learned from the failures, man, the things that I did wrong that led to the demise of, you know, my marriage or whatever. But I never tried to hide anything. I never tried, because look, here's what I discovered. What you can't defend, promote. So if you've messed up, the worst thing you can do is try to hide it, man. It's like, look, yeah, you know, I messed up. I'm sure you're perfect, but you know, I'm not. And that was kind of my mentality. Now I'm getting better. I'm a 50-year-old kid right now. So my wife sometimes, who's, you know, half my age, tells me all the time, you're a kid, which I don't want to change that either. Like people tell me all the time, grow up. Well, what does that mean to grow up? Does it mean I'm supposed to be at home watching Netflix, doing nothing all day long? I don't know. And, but yeah, so my personal life, and then, you know, I'm married to a woman now that gets it and gets me. And that helps, man. Because I would never, in my previous relationships, I didn't promote my wife the same way I promote my current wife. And maybe that was immaturity. Who knows? It could have been a lot of things. And it doesn't matter now. But what matters now is I understand the power of having a connection and having a relationship with two people on the same page.
I love you too, baby.
That's awesome.
I love you too, baby. But so that was a big deal. And when I caught, it's funny to me that I never saw marriage necessarily as the thing that could grow your business. I never saw love as that type of thing. That was, it seemed kind of corny to me.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But now I see, man, I see the growth in myself, that I'm not afraid to for my guys, for, some of my hard ass friends to know, look, man, I love my wife. I'm not gonna do the same things I did before. You know what I mean? Whether it's going to the strip club on a regular, whatever it was,
I hear you, bro. I hear you, bro. As much as you're a kid, you've grown up a little bit too, man. So
yeah, had to, man. And my wife is still a lot more mature than I am. But I'm working on that, man. It's a work in progress.
When did the tattoos start coming around, man? I don't remember you having those in prepaid legal.
No, I keep adding to them, man. It's just, I think it's because, my age, and if I get on stage and I forget something, well, it says legacy, then I can go train from there. Ego is the enemy. I don't, it's crazy because I get an idea. Like I put all my kids, I put their initials and their birth dates or their birth years. Cause funny, I forget my kids' birth dates, which, I think a lot of guys do this, but, and maybe they don't, but I do. Maybe I got too many kids now. So, I have that information. And time, I've got the time because I'm very conscious of the time. On my hand where I sign papers, it says ego is the enemy, which I have to be reminded that look, I'm not as big as sometimes I think I am. And staying humble is a big deal. There's it cost me millions of dollars to not be humble, millions. And look,
I feel like you have a specific thing in mind when you say ego cost me millions of dollars. Is that a story you care to share?
No, that one I won't share, but I will.
If you can't defend, you got to promote, man. What you got?
I will. Right? I know, but I will tell you that one time, it was back in the prepaid legal days. I think I was making 15, 16 grand a month. And I thought I had made it, man. I thought I had made it. You couldn't talk. Wait till I get my money right. I thought I had made it. And I'll never forget, Jeff Olson basically said, bro, you're an idiot. And, you forgot where you came from. And if you keep going, you're going to end up back where you came from. And the beauty of that is that he told me the truth. I was cocky. I was being, I thought I was being something that I shouldn't have been. And it was turning people off. And that's what happens a lot of times when people get money. Sometimes when you get money, you get a false, especially, and that wasn't a lot of money. I look at that, that's a day for me now. But back then that was a lot of money. When people get a lot of money, sometimes they get a false sense that they're doing something right or that they're perfect. You know what I mean? When I'm consulting with big network marketing companies, and they're doing 200, 300, 400 million a year. And I tell them that they should adjust in certain areas. It's hard for them to do it because it's like, listen, we're having the best year we've ever had. I said, well, why'd you hire me? Don't hire me. Look, if you don't want to listen, that's why when I'm mentoring people too, I always say, do you want me to tell you the truth or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? Because I can do either one. You can pay me and I'll give you whatever you want. Just let me know up front what you want. If you want me to just tell you everything you want to hear, I can do that real easily. But if you want to go from 400 million to 800 million, well, maybe here's a couple of things I would do. Here's an adjustment I would make. And, but it's hard, man, when you're making that kind of money, because you start to believe that, you did there's all kinds of things that come together for someone to get rich. It just doesn't happen. Sometimes it does, but
this is why lottery winners never keep it.
Never keep it. Yeah. Man, it's a great example, bro. Great example.
Jim Rohn says, if you come across $1 million, it's in your best interest to become a millionaire really quick so you get to keep the money. Are we using the same, do we have the same water jug thing here, brother?
Oh, we do, yes.
Wavelength? That's what I'm talking about.
I love this thing, man.
We are looking for our first sponsors here, so this might have to be the company.
Right. I've got a big one, but my wife took it. It's in the car.
No, my wife came up with that because, while I live in Arizona too, man, it's it's hot and dry here, so staying hydrated is important.
190 degrees.
Yeah, I'm in here sweating right now.
Love it, brother. Well, Mr. Mallot, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we're coming down the home stretch here. So the way we like to bring this home typically is just a few rapid fire questions, and then we'll leave you with our signature question. And then, of course, let the people know again where they can follow you. Dustin is our chief rapid fire question officer. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it to him now for those rapid fires.
Awesome, John. One quick one that I just kind of wanted to cover is we glazed over the Jets, but those are just so far kind of off the wall. I wanted to learn a little bit where that came from.
Yeah, my good friend and business partner for 2 decades, Josh Denny, approached me about an opportunity to invest in a membership-based private jet company based out of Scottsdale, and sounds like a good idea. I had a little extra cash. I put it in, and now we've got 3 jets, and the company's booming. So that's how that whole thing started. And it's limited routes. It's mainly West Coast right now. Now we've got a route into Cabo, and New York's coming soon. So
he said you had me at private jets,
right?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to get on them, and yeah.
I mean, we are looking for sponsorships, so we might have to circle back on that conversation.
Yeah, and we got a hot membership. I think it's the hottest. It's not like a Jet Suite X where you got 50 passengers on this thing. These are real. These are like 10 passenger luxury, jets that they're Rolls Royces in the sky basically. SetJet is the name of the company. SetJet, if anyone's interested.
SetJet, yeah.
Awesome. And then second, so I'd like to give, let's say somebody going into network marketing right now, especially with the times, it's just the barrier to entry is slim to none. What kind of recommendations would you, because there's so many out there and some are predatory and some are not, what should they look out for when getting into it, and a couple steps to succeed when they get started? Yeah,
no, look, it's the same thing you would do for any business. People get it twisted. They think it's different. People join network marketing companies out of emotion or because their friend hyped them up or they heard they can make a lot of money. It's a big mistake. The same way I'd evaluate any company or any investment, number one, people. Who are the people behind it? What's the leadership? What's their track record? Who are they? What have they done? That's critical. What do they have integrity? You can find out pretty quickly if these people have run 14 different companies, plowed through people's money, because there's a lot of that, unfortunately, that gives the whole industry a bad name. So people, then the product, man, for me, it's always, would the product stand on its own without a business attached to it? Otherwise, you're just laundering money amongst friends. And it's like, wink, wink, don't tell anybody, but we got a business attached to this thing and we're all going to make some money together. And when someone comes to me and all they talk about is the compensation plan, I know they're amateurs. I'm like, look, bro, you could sell dog shit and have a 99% payout because it's dog shit. So I don't care about the comp plan. I want to know, do you have a real product that I could go head to head in the marketplace and not be embarrassed and compete on a real level? Because you got to compete. You got Amazon, you got Shopify, you got to play the game properly. And good network marketing companies already know this, so they are developing cutting edge products to begin with. So people is critical, the product, and then for me, third is the process. I want to know that you have a process other than go out there and do something. Go out there and kill it. Go out there and crush it. What's the process? Do you have a process for prospecting? Do you have a process for onboarding people? Do you have a process for leadership development, for ranking? I want to know that. If you don't have that, then I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm going to be frustrated. In a year, I'm going to blame network marketing. I'm going to say network marketing sucks. No, you suck, and the people that brought you in suck because they didn't teach you what they should have taught you because they had a lottery mentality just like you did. So yeah, that's critical for me. Awesome. And then understand, I'll give you one more. You get me started, man. It's your fault, bro.
Let's go.
70% is relationships. This is where people get it twisted again. 70% of my focus is on building relationships. Now, of course, we got high-tech tools that speed that process up. And then you've got 20% that is marketing, which is simple. We got technology. Sales funnels. I mean, there's so much stuff from a marketing standpoint. You can watch brilliant marketers all over Instagram now and get ideas. And then 10% is facts and details. I see people all the time they've got it all mixed up. They're coming to me with all the facts about their product. I don't care about the 37 ingredients, the 350 different things about the product. Give me 3 good benefits. That's all I need. I don't need all that extra stuff. And show me what I'm going to look like. Show me what I'm going to look like in a year from now. give me an idea what the vision is, where we're going with this thing and what we can do together. And I you know, people will win that way.
I love it. So I'll send it away right now. So being the Dedication to Excellence podcast, we do like to really circle around excellence itself. So with your history, you know, coming from JO, coming from 7 years to 100,000, coming from multiple failures, as everybody that succeeded in business experiences, what, in your own words, does it mean to live a life in dedication to excellence?
Oh, yeah. For me, it's discipline, man. It's a disciplined life, you know, which is a challenge. You know, the prerequisite to living a life of excellence is having the discipline to say no, the discipline to look. I like to party. The discipline sometimes to say, you know, I'm not going to party tonight. Well, I'm going to Taco Tuesday right now. I might have to have the discipline to not have that extra shot of tequila because tomorrow morning it's gonna cloud my mental. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So,
you know, the discipline when it comes to you know, my wife, to, you know, how I interact with other people. So for me, living a life of excellence is going to come down to discipline. And, you know, my mentor, Jim Rohn, talked a lot about that type of thing, living a life of excellence, and discipline always became part of it. Those that don't discipline themselves end up getting disciplined by, you know, the world. So that would be my quick response.
John Mallot telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, baby. In grand fashion.
This might be the lowest rating show you've ever done.
Nah. Man, well, hey, sir, I appreciate your time. I'm glad after 10 years, you and I got to squash that beef we had. Not that you even knew about it, but, you know, that's something that I held close to my chest for years. So, brother, thank you so much again for joining us. And remind the people where they can find you and follow your journey and everything you got going on.
Yeah, best place for me, you know, most of my time is on Instagram. So I run my own Instagram page, john.mallott. So at John, JOHN.MALOTT. And so I respond to everybody at some point. If you send me a DM, I'm going to get back to you. It might not happen that day. Give me a minute. But that's probably the best place to hit me. And then, of course, at Build Your Empire. And then we've got the Oh Snap lifestyle page. So lots of cool stuff. But Instagram is best.
Awesome, brother. Well, now that we're friends again, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you a follow. But again, I appreciate you taking the time. On behalf of the Dedication to Excellence podcast, my co-host, Dustin Reyna, I'm Eugene Tamampos. Appreciate all the love that people have been sending. Please keep leaving the reviews. Please keep telling your friends. We are going on a tear right now, and we are just warming up. It's going to get gooder and gooder, so stay tuned. Appreciate you all. Stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of your night. We out of here. Peace.